Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria. And I'm here cooking with Jess, one of the consultants from our team, but we are cooking on behalf of our team, the Mix Masters, a team of consultants based all around Victoria at the moment. So thank you for joining us. We've got a bit to show you tonight. We're very excited to give you a bit of a showcase about the possibilities that you can make this Christmas with a TM7 in your kitchen. So if you haven't already, would love you to pop in the chat box, where you're watching from, and if you own a Thermomix, what model is it? But we're going to get straight into cooking. We've got, like I said, quite a bit to cook tonight and to show you. And as you know, we have quite a couple of different offers running at the moment, which we'll chat about during the night as well. But please, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat box as we're cooking, as well as Jess and myself. There's a few other consultants from our team watching along and in the chat box to help you guys with any questions you've got too. So ask away, and hopefully we will show you something new and share some great Christmas inspiration with you tonight. So I'm going to head over to my TM7. All right, and I am going to get us cooking with our pav to start with, because what is Christmas without a pav? So this is our home screen of our TM7 for those of you who are not familiar with it at the moment. The home screen is actually customizable. So I have it set to show my planned recipes and a couple of modes and functions over this side. With the manual mode and the cleaning one, things that I use quite often there. But if you were to scroll all the way down to the bottom of your home page, it does give you the option to customize what you see on your home screen, which is awesome. So depending on how you use your Thermomix, if you want it to give you some daily inspiration, those kind of things, you can change it around. From here, we can scroll down if we wanted to. We can see my bookmarked recipes, which are ones I say bookmarks as recipes I cook often. I recently cooked is there, and there's some trending recipes for new ideas and inspiration. But like I said, I have got my planned recipes here, so I can either click one of those, or I'm going to go back if I wanted to. If I had more than just those two planned and wanted to cook something else, I can click my week 2 and they will all come up in there. While we're showing you a little bit about the home screen, there are the rest of our menu buttons down the side. We've got the search bar, which we can use for Cookie Do. We have all of our recipes and collections saved in here. So again, my recently cooked bookmarks, my recipe lists are in there. You'll see like my Christmas ones straight up, baking breads, all kinds of these, as well as my created recipes. If I kept going down the left-hand side, I bring up all of the different modes. So if I use that little arrow, I can scroll down and see all of the TM7 modes, and then the last one has some settings and things. But like I said, we'll get cooking. We're going to start off with a mixed berry pavlova stack. So if you do have any questions, like I said, please pop them in the chat box, especially if they're TM7 related. If you're not sure about something that you are seeing, pop it in. But yes, this is pavlova recipe that is one of my favorites. I find this one works really well every time, and it's really versatile. So tonight I'm going to make some mini pavs with it, but you can make the stack, you can make mini pavs. I've made like a pav wreath before. You can literally do whatever you like. There are a couple of different photos for inspiration there and a little video. Let's see how well my internet copes with the Zoom and this at once. So that you will see lots of different videos integrated into your TM7, but very similar to the TM6, you can scroll down and see a whole recipe, and we can jump across to ingredients, preparation, tips, and more. But let's get cooking. So into our Thermomix bowl, actually, I'm going to skip the berry coulis because I'm just going to show you the pav tonight. So I am just going to scroll down to the step that I want, which is that one, and then I'm going to use the 3 little dots to set that as the current step. So it just saves me nexting on through or skipping. So the first step is to preheat the oven to 150 and line the baking trays, which I have already done. If you're doing the pavlova stacks, this step just reminds you to mark out the circles so that You're getting nice, even pavlova discs. But into there now, we're going to place 320 grams of white sugar. And you will see that the TM7 automatically senses when you have hit the right amount, and we'll tick that off for you. So we're just going to hit next. It's just telling us exactly what it wants us to do there. So we're just popping the lid back on, and we're going to mill that sugar 20 seconds on speed 9. In there. And now it's just telling us to transfer half of that sugar to a bowl to that side. So I'll just show you that we have created icing sugar there. Going to half of that, around about half, doesn't need to be that. And I'm just going to pop the rest back, leave the rest in there. Next again, and we're going to pop the butterfly in. So that sits over top of the blades and twists on. And into there now we're going to place approximately 250 grams of egg white. So I've already separated all of those. I'm just adding them straight in. And just a pinch of cream of tartar. Has anyone made pav before? Are you making it often? Do you make it at Christmas or enjoy it at Christmas? Yes, Ina's just popped in the chat box. Sorry, I'm just going to tick those ingredients off because obviously a pinch of cream of tartar and 8 egg whites, it's not measuring those out exactly. So we can tick them off and then we can hit next. Emma's just put in that the noise difference, and that is one of the things because of the insulated bowl on our TM7 or insulated casing, the noise is significantly reduced. So I'm just going to start that. So it's 5 minutes of whipping now, which you probably won't even be able to hear. I can hear it slightly at home, but through Zoom you probably won't hear much. But anything under speed 2, you don't even notice your Thermomix is working. I don't know how often I've had to double check that I've actually started a recipe because I can't hear it going. All right, while that is whipping away, we are going to go over and see Jess. Let you say hi first, Jess.
Cool. Hi. Yep, all good. Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I'm based in Conniva in Victoria, and I am a Thermolife on the Farm on socials. So tonight, as Erin mentioned, we're cooking together, doing a Christmas theme. So the first thing I'm going to cook is a Christmas tree bread. So I will switch over to my machine. Oh, there it is already. And we'll get going. So as Erin mentioned, here I've got my screen set out the same way. I've got my week here already planned. I love to be able to see exactly what I'm cooking. And so this is the bread we're going to be making. What you can do is some of the recipes, and this one in particular, is you can actually, if you scroll down, you can change the serving size here. Now, because I am kind of doubling up here because I've already got a dough made, I'm actually going to just drop it down the serving size. So I'm just going to drop it down to the 24, which then changes like the amount of the dough and all that. I don't know why I just said it couldn't change the serving size because it already has. So if I scroll back up to the top, we'll press start and we'll get going. All right, so as you'll see there, with the lid on, the machine knows that when you take the lid off, it automatically tears it to 0. So that is a feature that I love about the new TM7, because I was forever not tearing my scales all the time. All right, so we're just going to pour the water straight in. Like Erin mentioned, even if you go a little bit over, it'll still tick itself off like it's doing there. And then we're just going to pop in some of the yeast. So you can use the dried yeast like I'm using tonight, or you can use fresh yeast if you have it. Ooh, right on here, I've made a mess, but that's okay. We'll tick that one off because again, it's only a little bit, so it doesn't actually tick itself off. We'll go to next. And now we're just going to warm up the water and the yeast together. So it's just going to go 2 minutes at 37 degrees. So if you've made bread before, you would know that it always asks for lukewarm water. And if you're like me and you had no idea what that actually means, it means it's 37 degrees. It's the optimum temperature for the yeast to start being activated. So that's what we're doing here now. So you can see here, it skipped to the next step because it wants me to lightly grease a large bowl with olive oil while this is warming up. But you can see up here on the screen, this is where the time is still going. So we can see we've got 1:30 left. But you can see it there. So it just pops up there. If you want to, and if you want to preview the recipe, you can still scroll down and keep following the recipe, or we'll just be waiting for this extra 1 minute. So is anyone making bread at the moment? Anyone who has a Thermomix or doesn't have a Thermomix? We make a lot of bread in our house. It's so easy and so versatile. We make loaves of bread, I make scrolls, pizza dough, all sorts of things like that. So being not near a bakery, it is so good to have fresh bread again. Like my favorite thing. Emma's got in the chat that she makes lots of bread too, and she actually makes gluten-free sourdough. That's the best thing about it too. You can, if you are gluten-free, you can switch out and make a beautiful gluten-free bread as well. So much better. What I've been told, so much better than what you can buy in the shops, which is good. So we've just got 20 seconds to go on this one. But as you can see, I can't actually hear it at all. So like Erin said, I also double check all the time that I have actually pressed play on it to get it going. Because we're only doing speed 1, it's near impossible to hear. All right, so we'll keep going on here now. So that will have activated the yeast for us. And now we're just going to continue on. So we need 300 grams of the flour. So we're just using a bread flour here. You can use just plain flour, but bread flour definitely works better. Just got a higher gluten protein content. There we go. I'm just going to put in the olive oil. You'll notice too, if you haven't cooked with the Thermomix before, because you weigh all the ingredients straight into the bowl, you've got less dishes to have to clean at the end. There's no measuring cups or measuring spoons. You just pour it straight in. All right, so now it's asking for sugar. You probably could leave this out if you want to, but it does help with the activation of the yeast. Put it in, and then same with a bit of salt. If you do want to reduce the salt in your food, you could leave that out. All right, now because the sugar and the salt are only a small amount, again, just tick it off yourself. All right, now we're going to use the dough mode here. So the dough mode on the Thermomix is the equivalent of 2 minutes in dough mode is the equivalent of 20 minutes by hand. So that's why you do get like a really soft, lovely dough with the Thermomix, because I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever had the stamina or the attention span to knead dough for 20 minutes straight. So the Thermomix just does an excellent job on its own to really get it going. You'll notice here that the machine will move around a little bit, but it's actually designed to do that on the feet. It's designed to move around a little bit while it throws the dough around in the bowl. So it's always really important that when you are kneading dough, always remember that while you're kneading, your Thermomix needs you. So don't leave the kitchen for this step. It's only 2 minutes, but best you don't actually leave, because it can walk around the bench, and you do hear of people having very unfortunate accidents if it's fallen off a bench or something like that. So it's always best to stay close by. just while it does this kneading.
Hey Jess, I might just come over quickly and pop the rest
Yeah,
of my
go for
sugar
it.
in if that's all right while you're
Yep.
kneading there.
Totally go for it.
All right, so that first whipping step has finished, and I'll show you how our egg whites are looking. Good there so far. So the next step is just to add the rest of that sugar back in. So just that sugar that we milled up before, we're just going to throw that back in. And then next. And now it's just going to have more whipping time. So this is actually going to be 10 minutes this time. So obviously, it is 10 minutes, but I am hands-free to do whatever I want. So I can, do a few more dishes, get the next few sets ready, whatever I need to do while the Thermomix does all the work for me. So I'm just going to hit play. That is going to do its thing. And we'll come back once Jess has finished hers.
All right, so right on cue, mine is done. And you'll see that my Thermomix has moved. I purposely didn't move it back, so you could all see that it did actually move around a little bit. The TM7 does actually have like a built-in glider board on the bottom now, so you don't need the glider board like you did with the TM6. So there you go there, that's our beautiful dough. It'll come out of the bowl really easily, as you will see. So we'll just go next on here. It's asking us to transfer to a bowl. But I am actually going to use our bread mat, which I've got here. So silicone bread mat, which you can get in the mix shop. And I'll just put that on here like that. Best way to get dough out of your bowl is to move the blades on the top. A new spatula, which I should have with me, actually has the dough release on the bottom. So you can use the spatula there over the blades. That fits perfectly. Be able to get the dough out. We'll just pop that one on there. You'll see here, that's pretty much all come out. If you do have a lot stuck around the blade, you can go it on turbo mode and get it to get off the blade that way. So now it's just saying to move to a bowl and cover and wrap for about an hour. So what I've got here is a dough I prepared earlier. So this one has now doubled in size. And we'll use this one. So sorry about that, just swapping that over. All right. So now it says just align the tray, and it's going to make didn't realize that. I thought we had to shape it first. We won't. We will go on and we'll make the filling. So, all right, so we'll pop in some Parmesan cheese. You need 45 grams of that. Going to be a bit over, but that won't matter. So because we're so far over, it won't pick itself up either. All right, now this might be really loud while we grate the Parmesan for 10 seconds and it will hopefully mute it out. So I'll just show you in there. That is our Parmesan cheese in just 10 seconds, all perfectly grated. So it's just saying here to remove it to another bowl. Just dip this out in here. All right. It also says to leave 1.5 tablespoons to another bowl and set them both aside, which we'll need later. So now we're just going to pop in a garlic clove. Pop that straight in. Now I'm just going to grate that for 3 seconds on speed 7. All right. I'll show you there. That is really finely grated our garlic. If you can see it in there, it's a bit hard to see with the remnants of the Parmesan. We'll scrape that down to the bottom. And now we're going to put in some mozzarella cheese. So we'll just pop all that in. See, it's 150 grams. Gone a little bit over. Yep, but still within the range, so that's fine. Next. And now we're going to put in the larger amount of the Parmesan cheese. So I haven't separated into 2 bowls, so I'll just make sure I leave some left in this bowl here. Enough to leave. Take that off. Now we're just going to do 1 second on turbo. So turbo is the maximum speed that our blades can go. In here, that is our beautiful cheese filling that we've now got. So it's got our garlic, our Parmesan, and our mozzarella all beautifully mixed in together. All right, so now let's leave that in there for now. We'll just move it to the side. So to move it on the glider board, you just kind of lift up the machine, tilt it back, and then you can glide it around your bench without damaging the scales. All right, so now we've got the dough. So this was the dough that I had made earlier. So it has been resting for over an hour, and it is right to now use. What we're going to do is we're going to divide it into 24 balls. So they're only going to be very small. But the beauty of this is you could use this dough to do whatever you wanted, like be able to do whatever you want to do. So actually, do these into 3. This will just be we're making a cheese and garlic pull apart. So we're going to have the small rolls that everyone can just have as like a side dish or bring a plate. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do 1 heaped tablespoon of the cheese mixture into the center and then fold the edges in to form a sealed, tightly sealed ball. So we'll just stretch it out like this. That's one of our mixture in the middle here. And we're going to pop it around like that, have a nice little sealed ball. So it's just going to be like a really small roll. And we're going to repeat that with all of our bits of dough here. So we'll just keep going. You can use this dough, as I said, you could make larger dinner rolls if you wanted. You don't have to make the Christmas tree shape either. So if you are making this at another time of year, you don't feel like you can only make it at Christmas time to make it a Christmas tree. I will do that tonight. But you could just make any sort of shape. You could do a big long log. You could do it more like into a twist. Your options are endless, really.
was going to say, you could just put them all together in a dish and just have it as a bit of a pull apart anyway, couldn't you?
Definitely. Yep. I'm sure I've done something similar to this where I've just actually rolled out all the dough into one, like a rectangle shape, sprinkled the mixture on top, and then I've actually like rolled it over and then like, how do I explain this? I've like split it into 3 and then platted it. So it's more of like a platted bread type thing. So yeah, your options are actually endless. It's just giving you the base idea of what you should do here, and then you can do whatever you like with it.
So good. I might flip back over here, Jess, while you do some of that.
Go for it.
I was just thinking maybe pop your bowl on a wash while you're doing that. So
I will do that. Yep. Definitely.
Awesome. Okay, that is perfect timing. So while Jess continues to roll those, I'm going to come back over here and you'll see we've got about 10 seconds left on our whipping time for our pav. So who's making pav? I don't know if I asked before, I popped in the chat box. Have you made pav before? Is it something you make often? Are you scared of making it? Or is it something somebody else brings at Christmas time? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. So we're just going to next, and we'll have a quick squeeze. All right. You see that nicely with the light there? You can see it's nice and shiny. It's puffed up beautifully. Or while I was doing a bit of tidying up in the kitchen, actually, while Jess was cooking away there, using my hands-free time to the best of my ability. All right, so now we're just going to add in a teaspoon of white vinegar. Chop a teaspoon of vanilla. And 3 teaspoons of corn flour. The one thing that I absolutely love about the TM7, and I'm sure those of you who have already upgraded will agree, is how much easier it is to clean. Without those locking arms of the TM5 and TM5 originally, TM5 and TM6, just being able to take the bowl off and just give it a quick wipe, so much easier. And I'm gonna do a deliberate spill just to show you. But the screen is also amazing because unlike the other ones where you need to make sure nothing spills and nothing drips and you're constantly wiping it, your TM7 screen will continue to work perfectly with anything dropped, spilt, whether it's water, flour, just you can use it with wet fingers, anything at all. It will still be completely responsive. So I'm popping the lid back on there and we're just going to mix that for 20 seconds on speed 3. Just reading Jessica's comment. Yeah, this is a really good recipe, Jess. It is super easy. And it's the coulis, like to make the actual stack is delicious. But yeah, it's the meringue is perfect for anything that you want to do. So just nexting, and that is done. So again, there is that. It's just telling us to remove our butterfly whisk. So just gonna, I'm going to lift that up. So remember that back foot is our glider foot. So we can just lean back, tilt it back and lean on that. And then we're going to just wiggle out our butterfly. Sorry about that wobble of the camera. Give that a bit of a tap off. And see how beautiful and thick that meringue is too there. So yeah, if you're making this stack, you can just use a spatula to kind of plop it out onto your baking tray and onto those circles that you've drawn out. But like I said, I'm going to do some mini pavs. So I'm just going to pop it. I find it easier. You still can pop it out with a spoon, but I find it easier to just clamp it on. It gives me a nice good shape, and it's really easier, much easier to work with, I find. See just how beautiful and thick that meringue is. Yep. right. And I've just got, these are one of my silicone baking trays. And again, so if you wanted to, you could make a wreath, but I'm just going to just pipe out just some little individual serves. You make them as big or small as you want. These are one of my favorites, not just Christmas, but all kind of around, I suppose, the entertaining or bring a plate season. I love bringing them as like a bit of a grazing board. You know, you can make the berry coulis and a chocolate sauce and some fresh fruit, maybe a bit of honeycomb in your TM7, and bring them along. Made the biggest mess here behind the camera. Bring them along, and they're perfect for sharing for barbecues, yeah, Christmas, New Year's, all of the things over the summer. So I'm going to pop those in the oven at about 120 for about an hour, and then we're going to leave them in the oven. I have got some to show you afterwards, but leave them in the oven with the door ajar. With the door closed until they cool. But we'll go over and see how Jess is going, and I'll just finish off those.
All right, so I have rolled all these out now. Took a little bit longer than I was expecting, but now I'm just really quickly, oops, sorry about that. Just popping them on the tray here, once I get a few more out of the way, in the Christmas tree shape. So, as we've said, these are like our beautiful, like rolls. They'll be full of cheese and perfect to accompany a meal, a shared meal. So I think I haven't counted properly. Anyway, there we go. That is our Christmas tree shape. And now these are going to prove again for about another half an hour to get bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'll just let them sit for a bit. I'll put my mat over the top. And then I'll also, to speed up the process, I will pop them in a cooled oven, and they will prove while the oven warms up. All right, so now I will go on while Erin?
Sorry, yes, please.
Yep, that's all right. All right, just really quickly tip this out. Sorry about that. All right, now for this second dish, I'll just show you here. We'll go back. I've just used the pre-clean mode. So I'm not sure if you have a TM6, you would be aware of this amazing mode. If not, the TM6 and TM7 have the pre-clean mode, but you'll see on the TM7 now, it actually has a picture to help you when you've just been cooking to know which mode you want to use to clean. So we've got the quick wash, universal, which I use for nearly everything. You've got one just for dough. They're all different at the temperature that they go to. And for the length of time that they take as well, but they make cleaning up an absolute breeze. All right, so this time I'm going to make a French onion dip. So this is perfect for those plates of nibbles. It's perfect for, again, like a bring a plate, or when unexpected guests drop in. And being a dip that you're making your Thermomix, if you haven't made dip before, you make lots and it's awesome. All right, so we're just going to press start. Now it's just come up with a warning down there, just a message to say that it's now moved my Christmas tree recipe to my recently cooked, and we're going to start this one. All right, so we're going to put in 20 grams of oil. So again, we'll just put that straight into the bowl. There we go. And that is going to tick itself off. And now it's going to put in some brown onions. So it's asking for 300 grams, just cut into It's saying wedges there, so I've just got it. Yeah. I've done very poor measuring beforehand. I'm just going to do the 250 grams that I've already got cut up, and that will be plenty. All right, so we'll tick that off. Go next. Now we're actually going to use our high heat browning mode now. So you'll see here that it goes up to 160 degrees. So the browning mode actually mimics a fry pan. So what we've got, well, you probably can't hear it, but the blades move around to start stirring what you've got in there. But now they've actually stopped and they're going to wait for the bowl to warm up. And so now the onion can actually brown in the bowl. And then to ensure that it doesn't burn, you'll hear the blades will kick in again. I'm not sure you can hear that, but it's starting to sizzle. And then the blades will kick in again just to make sure it keeps stirring and to ensure that we don't actually burn what we've got in there. So it's great for meats and for like stir fry veggies, stir fries, like making caramelized onions like this. It's really good. And now which is amazing on the TM7 is if we come down to our mode section, we've got the browning mode here on our mode. So this is new to the TM7 to actually be able to access the browning mode off your home screen. So you can add it into any recipe. So I made quiche earlier today and I wanted to actually brown the bacon off. So I got out of the recipe where it was just going to cook it and I jumped into the browning mode and I was able to cook my bacon on the browning mode and then go back into the recipe. So it's a bit of a game changer, really, being able to access the browning mode straight off your home screen. But it will give so much more flavor to the food. And you'll see there'll be a change in color and everything, more so than just frying it off. We are actually as if we are doing it in the fry pan, which is very cool.
Yes, the manual high heat is probably one of my favorite upgrades. I have so many recipes that are not cookie dough that I love from my TM5 days. Tonight we had a carbonara recipe, which isn't a cookie dough one, but because I've got the manual high heat now, I can do the browning of the bacon with the high heat, which honestly does make a really big difference. All right, while that's cooking away, Jess, I am going to come back over here. And I'm just going to make a really quick seafood salad or seafood kind of starter. Just making sure. So I'm midway through my recipe. I can go out. The best way I find to get out of it is just to pull down from the top of the screen to what we call our cooking center. That has like active things in here. So obviously our mixed berry pavlova stuff is there and there's just a cross in the top left-hand corner and that has exited that recipe for us. So now I'm just going back to my home screen and I'm going to open up the citrus seafood salad. So I'm going to hit start. And into there now, we are going to pop in, I've already, these are both, but some orange zest and lemon zest. They're both in there together. You don't have to tick them off. You can just hit next if you want to. Obviously, if you've got a big long list and you're keeping yourself up to it, marking off everything as you're going, it can be a bit easier, but it's just a couple of things like that. You can just go next. And then we're going to grate that. So 3 seconds on C7. So this recipe is just starting off making a beautiful, quick and easy citrus dressing. You'll see that has chopped it a bit so far, but we're just going to give it a scrape down, just push all of it back down towards the blades. So I find it hard to leave over. We're going to pop the lid back on and then we're going to do it again. And next, we're going to give it one more scrape down and then we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients. So you'll see now we've got a much finer chop on there. So just giving it another quick scrape down. And then to there, we're going to pop 3 sprigs of coriander. Yeah, okay. So this is when I do tick it off so that I know exactly what I'm up to. And we're resetting the scales for each one as well. So 30 grams of olive oil. I leave the chili out because we don't do spicy in our house. So I'm just going to tick that off. Always remember, guided cooking is just a guide. You absolutely can change it around to suit you. A tablespoon of sweet chili sauce. That's my very accurate tablespoon measure there. I'm sure you can tell. 30 grams of fish sauce. As making your own salad dressings and things at the moment. I'm sure those of you with the Thermomix of any model are. So quick and easy, and so much of the time it's just things that you have at home in the pantry already. 2 just sliced spring onions, 2 teaspoons of Russ wine vinegar. So again, with my accuracy, a pinch of salt, and also a pinch of raw sugar in this one. And I'm going to hit next. We're going to add in the juice from that orange and lemon that we peeled earlier. That is both of them combined. Now we're going to blend that up. So 10 seconds on speed 6. And now it's just telling us to transfer that into a serving jug and set aside. Back over there. Actually, what I'll do is I'll stick that on the top so you can see a bit easier. But there's our beautiful salad dressing in there. It smells amazing with that fresh coriander and lemon and orange. Tell me, guys, coriander lovers or despisers, pop it in the chat box. Is always a popular subject. We like it here. All right. And into the bowl now, we are going to place 500 grams of water. We don't need to wash the bowl. Oh, close enough there. We're going to pop the lid back on, and this time we're going to pop the varoma on. Just going to bring it a little bit forward again. So, I've already got the stuff in the varoma, so I should have brought it forward yet. So to say into the varoma dish, you're going to weigh in 300 grams of white fish fillets. I have done less just because I don't need a huge seafood salad tonight. So, but this does make quite a lot, and so 300 in the varoma dish. I'm going to keep doing this and then keep talking. And onto the tray, you've got 500 grams of salmon fillets cut up and 300 grams of raw prawn. So again, I do have less on there. But yes, it does make quite a bit, and certainly enough for feeding a crowd at Christmas. And your TM7 varoma is 45% bigger. And I'm just going to pull you back just a bit, sorry. 45% bigger than your previous models. So you can obviously do more and feed a bigger crowd in that as well. So we're going to pop the lid on, and then we are just going to steam that all for us. Again, hands-free. We can do all the other things while we need to. 10 minutes, and that will be done. So we'll head back to Jess, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, so mine still just has a minute to go on browning the onions. Erin was a little bit too quick there, but that's okay. Is anyone using the browning mode at the moment if you've already got a Thermomix? Well, can you think of things that you would love to use this for? If you're an owner of an older model, how you could use the browning mode. Like as Erin said, you can use old recipes, other ones that you probably made for years, but now with the fact that you can actually brown the meat, it becomes a game changer. I know of a lot of people who would do it in the fry pan and then add it back into the Thermomix, but now we don't need to, which is fantastic. All right, so it's just got 20 seconds to go. We're nearly there. So you can hear that it actually, for about the last 20 seconds, it's the bowl actually cooling down, just so it's safe enough for you to be able to open it. Another cool feature, which I can't show you, but I keep seeing pop up on my phone that I'm using as a camera, is that you can now actually get notifications on your phone from your TM7 direct to your phone to tell you that how much longer you've got left. So again, you don't need to be in the kitchen. You could be in the lounge room, sitting on the couch. You could be in the garden at the washing line, and you can actually get the notification to say that your Thermomix is finished. So you can see there that we've browned our onions in there, which has been all easy and hands-free. As Erin said, you don't actually have to be sitting here. I could have cleaned up the kitchen. Instead, I was actually prepping ingredients, trying to get organized. So now it's saying we're going to remove it from the mixing bowl and set it aside to cool for 30 minutes. So I'll just pop that out of here. Now, before you get worried, you won't have me entertaining you for another 30 minutes while that cools. Because here are some that I prepared earlier. So I've already cooked those ones, and they have definitely cooled. They just cooked while we're eating dinner. So now we're going to retain some of the onions for garnishing. I'll just quickly grab some of them out. In there, this is a step you probably don't have to do if you don't want to. Go next. Now we're actually going to make the dip. So we'll pop in our 150 grams of the cream cheese. You'll notice I haven't actually washed the bowl. No need to wash the bowl, which is great. My favorite step when you don't actually have to wash the bowl. There we go. Then we're going to put in some sour cream. You'll see every time the Thermomix sticks itself off, it actually re-tears the scales again, which is really handy. If you've ever been like me and just carried on cooking and realized you haven't teared the scales. Okay. So we're just throwing this all in. So we've got 100 grams of the sour cream. You would be able to use Greek yogurt if you prefer that. All right, now we're going to use garlic powder. One thing you do find that you'll use is a lot of teaspoons. I go through using a lot of teaspoons. So we'll throw that in, and we've got onion powder as well. Teaspoon of that. And then we just need 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So we'll just do a little bit. Good measuring that. All right, go next. I'm going to blitz all that up. I'll just realize I haven't actually popped in my onion. So we better pop that in. Like pulled onion in the bowl. And now we're going to mix that up for 10 seconds on speed 5. All right, so that is our beautiful French onion dip made. Nice and easy. How simple is that? The longest time is waiting for the onions to cool and probably to cook, but otherwise it's all beautifully cooked in here and we've got lots of it. So I'll get another bowl to pop it in. Put it aside. If you have a look on Cookie Dough, there is heaps of different dips you can try. But this one is definitely a favorite. The kids were very excited when they found out this is what I was making tonight. I've already had a request for something in a lunchbox for tomorrow. Put them there. And we can garnish with our onions from before on top. And there we go. There is our French onion dip. Made lots and really took about 5 minutes with less than that of hands-on time. So nice and simple on that one. And that is our French onion dip.
Looks delicious. Look at those caramelized onions too. Can you show us those again?
So
How
good.
beautifully
Definitely
browned they are.
nice and delicious on there, all hands-free.
Do you think that's about a tub that you get in the supermarket or more?
That'd be more than a tub that you'd buy at the supermarket.
Yeah.
For about
It's hard to
1.5
tell from your
tubs, I reckon.
container.
Sorry.
I said it's a bit hard to tell from your container.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger.
Yeah.
If I had a tub of dip, I would show you, but I make it all.
Awesome. How are your rolls looking?
They're going to take a little bit longer, I reckon.
A little bit longer. All right. I'm going to come back over here. So we are still steaming away there, but I'm going to move that out of the way gently. And I'm going to pass it up again earlier. Of the oven. And there they are. A bit brown inside, but they're not. Beautiful and crunchy. All right, and I'm going to roll them up. So I have a bit of whipped cream as well that I've done in my thermo. Obviously, another thing that is super quick and easy. Just have to watch it because it almost is too quick and easy. So popping a bit of that on there. This is what I mean by, have a bit of a grazing plate at your functions, because people can then just load up their path with whatever beautiful summer fruit or goodies that they would like. So yeah, that is as easy as it is to make a pav, mini pavs, the pavry. Squash some blueberries with your Thermomix. Super, super easy and quick to do this summer. And it makes a heap too. So that is only, what would it be? At least double that. Try and say probably 3 times. And we will finish this sequin salad. Hopefully Jess's rolls will be done and then we are all finished. So I have just got just a small plate again, because obviously I have not done it all for tonight. So, if you're doing it for Christmas or you're summer entertaining, you're going to need a bigger plate because you're going to have a whole lot more seafood. And the recipe does also call for you to brown some scallops. in a frying pan as well. I haven't added those in tonight, but definitely highly recommend. I love scallops. So we're using the base of the lid, of your varema to hold your varema when you take it off, because then it catches all that condensation. You're not getting a big mess all over your veg. But you can see our beautifully cooked prawns and salmon on that layer there. Just going to pop them all onto our salad. Hands. Not sure if you can see that, but then we've got our fish in there as well, so we're going to add that on top. Obviously, give it a bit of a mix around. So like anything, you can get a bit creative with this salad. You can add in whatever seafood that you like in the seafood salad, adding more or less of whatever you like as well. I think some like mango or something, and definitely avocado would go beautifully in this. But then I'm just going to pour over that beautiful dressing as well. And there you go. That is come out of it so I can actually see the recipe again. Our citrus seafood salad, perfect for a starter this Christmas. Let's put our starter and our dessert sorted. Just doesn't it look so good, guys? Yeah, I love a bit of mango either. Especially it's starting to get good. And then we've got Jess's rolls as a side, and that dip as a little nibble to start us off as well. So dinner's Christmas is looking good, I reckon. What do you guys reckon? Right, let's go back and see Jess.
All right. I'll just turn that a little bit. It's still very hot, but I'll lift it up for you. So the next step we had to do was make like a garlic butter. It had rosemary in it, but I know that the kids aren't such a fan of that. So I've just made like a quick garlic butter, and we've got it here. So we've just put that on top, and there is our beautiful Christmas tree bread. So it smells delicious. And yeah, it's very hot at the moment as it just came out of the oven, but there we go.
It looks delicious.
It's going to be delicious. So yeah, so it's nice and quick and easy as well.
So good. Thanks so much, Jess.
It does. You'll be able to use that at any time. So this is actually the extra large tray in the mix shop. So it is like a very big tray that I've used.
Yes, that is a huge one. I think I've got mine here. I think it's about 40 centimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, that is us covered. That is our, have you got your French onion dip there again, Jess?
Yes.
French onion dip, which has used the high heat mode of our TM7. A mode that is also available manually now as well, which is very exciting. We have our pull apart Christmas tree bread, the citrus seafood salad, and our little individual paves as well. So that is, I reckon, I don't know what you guys think, Christmas is looking pretty good. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to please pop them in the chat box and let us know. The girls I know have been answering as they've been going. But that is us covered for tonight. As you know, I'll just pretty quickly cover what we've got happening because there is quite a bit. Firstly, I just wanted to remind you guys that we do have our Earn in 4 offer finishing this Friday. So as part of that, you can currently earn a TM7 with only 4 sales in 90 days by joining our team. It's honestly an incredible opportunity and incredibly achievable as well. And when you make your first sale in 30 days, you also get one of our free TM7 cutters and spiralizers and a travel bag. So if joining the team is something that you have ever considered, or you would consider earning a free or potentially discounted TM7, please reach out to your consultant or even stay on to have a chat. We would love to talk to you more about that. If you've already got a TM7, you can join the team and still earn that TM7 cutter, spiralizer and travel bag with only 1 sale in 30 days, as well as commission. So yeah, again, lots of great opportunities there. But you also, I'm sure, want to have heard about our TM7 trade-up offer. So for the very first time, And we have the opportunity to trade up any of our previous Thermomix models to the TM7 for a discount. So if you have a TM31, you can upgrade to the TM7 and get a $250 discount. If you have a TM5, you can get a $450 buyback discount. And if you have a TM6, you can get a $750 buyback discount. So again, really great opportunity. And we now have TM7s in stock. Obviously, there will be, little slight delays because of how popular these offers have been, but we expect all TM7 orders to be dispatched within 10 days now. So we are very, very excited about that, that's for sure. So please, if you've got any questions at all, pop them in the chat box, or please reach out to your consultant. They will check in with you tomorrow to see what you thought, if you've got any questions. But yes, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've inspired you, we've taught you something new, given you some information to help you make your decision about ATM7. But yes, thank you. And thanks so much to Jess for cooking with me tonight. And thank you to the wonderful girls from our team that are in the chat box. We appreciate you all and appreciate you guys for joining us. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
We will see you soon.